All right.
Yeah.
Now let's get a little more technical. Like when building specialized AI agents for an industry, what are the essential building blocks?
Right. I think here usually you get a standard answer, learn this, learn that, and so on. But I would always
Mm-hmm.
say that you need to understand the problem first really well, and that's independent of whether you're solving it with AI and so on and so forth, right? In an
Mm-hmm.
industry, I want to solve a problem, and for that, I need to evaluate if AI does the job best or not, right? Or is there some other technology that can help me do that?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to first understand the problem area really well. And actually, there's a study by MIT. 95% of AI pilots fail
Okay.
because they were not solving either a real problem or they were not really understanding the problem really well, right? They were failing. Only 5% were successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know there was, this study has been challenged a bit by some external factors, but essentially, this is a very good representation of the fact that what you need to do to start solving a problem using AI is understand the problem really well, get the full context of the problem. Don't just
Okay.
blindly put AI on top of it, right? So that's one
Mm-hmm.
side of things, understanding the problem. Now, looking at again becoming more technical now here on the agentic AI front, what is important is today, I mean, ChatGPT just launched its own agentic sort of workplace apps, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have already NA10 and all these tools where you can already set up your own workflows. So, what is important for you to define that mind map around what needs to be done at which point. So, create a trigger system, trigger based workflow. That's step one. Understand what needs to be done. And second step is create that workflow in your mind or put it down on paper and then convert it into like a workflow on NA10, Zapier, moving forward and tools like ChatGPT and so on, right? So that you can do now. That's the next step. So step one,
Got it.
again, understand the problem really well. Step two, try to identify how you can solve this problem using a workflow, right? Build this workflow in your mind. Third, then actually go ahead and really put this workflow down in an agentic AI workflow tool like NA10, or define this, code this in Python, use AWS, and so on and so forth. Create the architecture around this and make it happen, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's the simplest way to get started, I would say.
Perfect. I mean, whatever the complex situation is, we need to boil it down to a very simple workflow, making it clear in our mind, and then the more clear we are, I think the better we will be able to produce the results, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when you don't have clarity on your side, you will not be
Mm-hmm.
able to properly communicate that or create that workflow in tools like NA10 or whichever tool you're using, right? So that's absolutely critical, mission critical. This specifically for agentic AI. I know different industries would do this differently, but in general, that's the best way to get started, even for non-technical folks.
Got it. And you said like when we are having these POCs or demos of the agentic AI, it is not getting translated. 95% of the time, it is not getting to the actual ground. So how do analytics and data tools like maybe like Tableau or something like that guide the development of these agents?
Right. No, so I was hosting this few days back session, and we were discussing workflows versus production workflows. There's a huge
Mm-hmm.
difference. So workflows essentially is when when you follow the three steps that I have told you. That does
Mm-hmm.
not really end up most of the times, 95% of the times we just saw that workflow does not end up in production, which means it does not finally make it to the customer, to the real world. Why
Mm-hmm.
is that? Because you're not monitoring. So first of all, there are a bunch of things that can go wrong. It has not been tested well, edge cases have not been handled, and so on and so forth. But one very important thing is monitoring and testing regularly. So set up logging, set up alerts, within the workflow itself as to how it is performing, which cases. So analytics becomes extremely important. And now with AI, that also has been revolutionized, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can set up analytics with chat. Like you can just chat and you can tell the chatbot in the analytics tool that you're using. And you can ask it to sort of set up some of these connections with your workflow. So your workflow should continue to share this information with you around what is needed to be or what is going wrong, how's the logging, what are the metrics. So business metrics, track business metrics as well as product metrics. You are, you need to track revenue, you need to track, for example, error rate, most commonly tracked, and then you also need to track time saved, how much time
Mm-hmm.
you were able to save through this workflow. All of that you need to track for you to able to really understand the goodness or how well this workflow was performing. And then obviously you need to track everything around errors and logging, so on and so forth. So analytics is key. Monitoring and testing, both are the two most important aspects of really ensuring that this workflow becomes a production ready workflow. So yeah.
Perfect. I mean, with that, every step I believe with the AI entry, we are complementing our work and making our life more easier, and it is also giving us the kind of say, enhanced results in the every stage of the development, so to speak, right?
Absolutely. I mean, every stage has been augmented with AI,
Mm-hmm.
they say. Yeah, every stage you get 2x output with AI or some X output with AI.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, now let's bring it to life with some, industry specific examples for our audience. Like you have
Yeah.
been building for the travel tech industry. So let's start there. Like, how can AI agents enhance the leisure travel experience for customer planning vacations, for example?
Absolutely. So I think we reserved this example for the last
Mm-hmm.
because this is really the best example. I think I've seen it firsthand. So this industry, travel technology, is at least business travel in general has been very fragmented, highly broken. Yeah, so processes have been managed by TMCs,
Mm-hmm.
50, 100-year-old TMCs or something, and processes are extremely old, let's say. Now, what AI does is, and we've built a product which does that. This is called the HRS Copilot. Now, what it does is it collects all these optimization opportunities. It understands, it reads all the data, all the bookings, everything around procurement, all of your data, all of the data of corporate travelers, business travelers, um, to understand how that can be optimized, how the
Mm-hmm.
travel can be optimized.
Okay.
So that was not done before. Yeah, there was no one doing this before. Yeah, there were data analysts and consultants doing this at some point, but that was very localized and for specific, let's say, time periods and regions and so on. But let's suppose there's a huge amount of data now you have. Let's say employees at Google want to travel to Singapore from India. They would book
Mm-hmm.
hotels, flights, and so on and so forth, right? To travel. Now, all that is data. All that data is getting stored. Now, let's suppose an AI is there specifically for Google, which is helping travel management teams and procurement teams at Google to
Mm-hmm.
take better decisions, right? To take actions to optimize their travel spending. Instead of this hotel, stay here, negotiate with
Mm-hmm.
this hotel to get a better rate, optimize your payments to sort of reduce charges and so on and so forth, right? So all of that is optimization. All of that are opportunities, recommendations that the
Mm-hmm.
AI can provide to travel management teams for optimization. Now it can be as simple as a chatbot. You have a chatbot, you ask a question, how can I improve savings in this destination, this and this, in Singapore, for example. And the chatbot has learned from all your data and it can
Okay.
come back with actionable recommendations. This chatbot can be based on generative AI, and now you need to take actions also. So it should be
Mm-hmm.
agentic. It should be an agentic sort of a chatbot. So agentic AI now comes into the picture here. And this is where you can directly negotiate with certain hotels in Singapore, or you can
Mm-hmm.
reduce spends by moving bookings from this to this, or you can do a lot of things. You can rebook hotels and so on and so forth. That is actionability. Now, if you convert that simple chatbot or that basic AI, which has learned from your data, already very powerful, but if you convert that to agentic, then that's where travel management teams across the globe can
Mm-hmm.
really, really make it happen. They can identify opportunities, they can achieve their strategic goals. Let's say they want to achieve net zero targets by 2040. They can do
Mm-hmm.
this through using such products. So this, I think, is a very good example of how generative and agentic AI can really transform an entire industry. It is expected to save, for example, the product we've built is expected to save millions of dollars of companies.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, similarly, other products in other industries, because of exactly this reason, because the efficiency and the time they save, the efficiency they increase and the time they save and the money they save, they can really, really be a game changer for the organization. So that's a good example of what I've seen firsthand, and I have absolutely no doubt about the fact that AI can really do the same in
Mm-hmm.
many other industries. You already have even better examples. So I'm confident on the fact that agentic AI can really transform most of the industries, if not all.
Yeah, I mean, with this example, it is, there's a common doubt like with the agents, there is a general category. People think like they could only, give the generic results around what are, problem statement is. But when we have some context, like in this, you gave like a specific to a particular organization, then it is more, personalized way of doing things, and it is giving everything that is suits you for that requirements, right? So I think it is very helpful in that sense, and it will help in being in booking or being seeing, okay, we are booked here earlier, let's get a better pricing around that part. So there are different levels we can, get the most out of it. That's pretty interesting for us. Okay, now let's say,
Absolutely. Yeah.
now let's say for like someone listening who is curious about to start building these AI agents, like what are some of the most commonly used tools or platforms today?
Right. No, that's a great question. And I get this very frequently. So I think, again, you can always start with a tool, but one thing that needs to be kept in mind is you need to solve a real problem, and that problem should be such that AI really helps solve it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to, I mean, that's my advice to everyone. Don't try to fit AI into each and every problem statement. It may or may not do the best job, right? It depends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rule based systems in some cases can work better. That's also possible. That being said, if you have that in mind and you have identified, let's say, a problem statement where AI can really help you solve it, the best way to start is uh, go to tools like Na10 would be the best to start. Obviously you would be using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and so on. But if you want to go for agentic AI and you want to build your own workflow, start with an Na10 template. There are about 6,000 templates now. I think last I checked was 5,900 or something that
Mm-hmm.
Na10 makes available to you. I think all of these or most of these are free anyways. So open a template, make a copy of that template in your workspace, set up
Mm-hmm.
an N8N account, right? In your workspace, copy that template and go to each and every node in that template. So
Okay.
N8N works on the concept of nodes. There are many nodes which take some
Mm-hmm.
action, and understand each node and run the node, execute the workflow. And Na10 is also JSON based. So if essentially engineers also want to change something in the JSON, they can also do that. So that's anyways for engineers, but broadly you start with a workflow, template workflow, and set up nodes, test these nodes, run the workflow, and see the power yourself. That's just to learn. Now, how do
Mm-hmm.
you really use this in your organization? Again, same process, repeat. Instead of using a template, create your own workflow. Given the kind of context that you have, you would be able to create something. So, in the industry, how would you do this? Obviously, frame your problem statement, understand it really well, and see if AI can solve this problem well. Create a workflow mind map. Like I said, start with creating a workflow mind map. Understand what will trigger what will be the next action. If this happens, this will happen. Conditional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agents can also be like simple reflex agents or like more complex agents, learning agents, and so on. There are five, six different kinds of AI agents. You need to choose which one's relevant for you. But anyways, so mind map, you create a mind map for the workflow and then finally go ahead and create the workflow in Na10, and then impress your boss, impress the organization, and start getting good results around error ratio reduction,
Mm-hmm.
accuracy, and let's say, sorry, not accuracy, better is probably time saved, efficiency increase, workforce productivity, and also most importantly, money saved, right? Or
Yes.
revenue generated. So that's the best way to get started with AI agents in your organization.
Exactly. Like I also feel the same. Like experimenting what you're learning is the best way of, grasping onto the new topics and what all things, when you experiment a bit, you get to see, okay, this could be happening, how can we resolve this that way. So it gives us more experiential learning is very important, I feel personally as well. So that's a great way to get started, I think. And as we wrap up, I'd love your take on the future. Like it's so as of now very dramatic. Where do you see specialized AI agents heading in the next 3 to 5 years, and what skills specifically you said like experimental learning is good professionals, but how they should be focusing onto this transformation?
Right. I think broadly, the common theme has been with AI specifically, right? After 22, specifically 2022. After that, I think the most important skill in the AI age is not AI. It is
Okay.
learnability, how fast you can learn.
Mm-hmm.
See the kind of transformation AI has had, the kind of pace AI has been transforming at, it has moved extremely fast, faster than I could have even thought or anyone could have imagined, frankly, right? That is
Mm-hmm.
why artificial generative intelligence was earlier planned to come in 2040. Now they are expecting to be already achieved in 2030. So, pace of
Okay.
transformation. Now, in this pace of transformation, what is most important for anyone who's listening to this, anyone in the world, be it a student, working professional, uh, you need to learn fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's your moat. That's your moat. That has enabled me to learn fast. And then you already identify if your organization can use it and how your organization can use it. If you don't know what can be done, you will not be able to solve a problem using AI. You cannot augment your workflow or your processes with AI. So that's exactly what you need to do. So most important skill is learn fast. And I spend my weekends learning AI. I do a lot of workshops as well. Feel free to join. Reach out on LinkedIn or something. Yeah, maybe Tushar, you can help me with putting down some my LinkedIn profile or
Sure.
something. But absolutely, I mean, the most important thing is learn fast. And then if you talk about the trends which will shape up AI in the next 3 to 5 years, the agents is going to become a very big thing. Agentic is really going to take the world by storm. They say 2025 is the year of agents, like I mentioned, but it is actually, people are learning in 25. They start
Mm-hmm.
implementing in 26. They start seeing the value in 27, and 28 is when the world sees these success stories, all these success stories, and the world knows that this is the big thing. So 28 is where, I mean, obviously it will move faster than this all of this will probably already be done by end of 27 or something. But but yeah, I mean, the pace of transformation, specifically with agents, right, is extremely fast. And after that, I mean, in 5 years roughly, think we are expecting AGI. I'm not even sure what that holds for the market or for the world yet, but I can just say that there's a huge potential. The most important in all of this is continue to learn, and you will not even realize, if you don't learn, you will not even realize when you are thrown out of your industry or when you're thrown out
Mm-hmm.
of your job, let's say, right? to
Mm-hmm.
to put things into perspective. So I think that's something you need to absolutely focus on right now. And experiment again, that's just touching on this again. Experiment, learn, um, practice, create your own agents, and so on and so forth. Continue to practice. That ties back to my learning point that I mentioned. Ensure that you learn fast. Yeah, that would be one takeaway. If there's one takeaway from this podcast, should be that.
Fantastic insight, Ashwin. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure exploring the world of specialized agents with you. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to stay tuned and share it with someone curious about the future of AI. Until next time, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah.